So the 2024 draft is expected to be the worst draft since 2000, according to many scouts. A draft that had memorable names like Marcus Fizer, Mateen Cleaves, Chris Mims, Joel Prisbilla, Stroll Mossfoot, but it also had guys in that draft like Mike Miller, Jamal Crawford, as well as Eddie House, and also don't forget the immortal, the great Michael Redd. And for every draft where you have a bunch of busts at the top of the list, the Anthony Bennett's, you also have drafts where you pick up a great player like a Jalen Brunson, and even at the apex, a guy like Jokic. So here to talk about three names that Knicks should consider in the late first round, second round periods of the 2024 draft is your boy Gmo, Legion of Knicks. Hit that rock. Salute. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like, subscribe using the dark notification bells, get each and every notification from each and every video I put out there. I appreciate you guys. Also, sign up for UnderdogFantasy.com, use the code Legion or LOK to get matched up to $500 on your first deposit. Again, code Legion or LOK to get matched up to $500 on your first deposit. Make picks galore with the new pick 8, where you can pick up to 8 picks and win all the way up to 325 times the amount you put in, depending on the picks you make. Again, up to 325 times the amount you put in, and based on the 8 picks that you make. Underdog Fantasy, is it in you? That's not the logo, but whatever. Sign up for Underdog Fantasy, use the code Legion LOK. First name I'm going to start off with is a name that the Knicks already worked out, and that's Ryan Dunn from the University of Virginia. Now, starting with Ryan Dunn, sophomore coming out of Freeport, New York. This season, he averaged around 8.1 points a game, 54.8% shooting from the field, 20% from three, 53.2% from the stripe. Some of these numbers are terrible. 6.9 total rebounds, 0.8 assists a game, 1.3 steals, 2.3 blocks. Now, again, those numbers, at least on the offensive end, aren't eye-popping or really flattering or at all. And again, this is why he's much more of a defensive developmental project. But he does have, there's some potential for him to be a solid two-way player in this league, and we're going to get into some of the nuances. There's something missing with this kid that just didn't travel over from high school to college, but we're going to get to it. So let's start off with the positives on Ryan Dunn, and obviously his defense comes to mind. First and foremost, he's easily one of the best and possibly the best defender in all of college this season. According to Synergy Sports, he only allowed 4.2 points per game on 28.7% shooting from the field, which ranked in the top 20th. Both those stats ranked in the top 20th nationally amongst 1,202 plays with at least 175 defensive possessions. And in isolation, held opponents to 20% from the field, only giving up 0.467 points per possession, which ranked in the 9th percentile. 7'2" wingspan, is disruptive in the paint. Again, we're talking about a guy who could mirror his defenders. He could defend 1 through 4 and possibly some small ball 5s once he gets to the league. This guy who moves extremely well laterally, can close out, defend on the outside, only gave up 28.3% on spot-up shots this season. Talking about only giving up 25.6% the rim this season. When I looked at his rebounding, I'd probably rank it anywhere from like a 7 out of a 10. He did rank, and again, just look at the numbers, he ranked 10th in overall offensive rebounds, 13th in overall defensive rebounds in the ACC. He makes a great effort to crash boards, is fairly active once he gets there, which is what you need in Tom Thibodeau systems. Thus the reliance on guys like Josh Hart, guys like Isaiah Hartenstein, who do a really good job, as well as Mitchell Robinson, do a really good job of controlling the boards. Look at his blocking as well too. First in the ACC, patient, smart, very instinctive when you see Ryan Dunn going for blocks. Again, coming from that well-disciplined defense, where I'm gonna get to in a little bit from Tony Bennett, he has such good instincts married with some of the tutelage he got from Tony Bennett. And the great thing about it is that he comes from a system that actually has a lot of similarities to Tom Thibodeau, the pack line defense, which does what? Number one directive is to protect the paint, force defenders into these odd spaces where the help can come, flash can help trap. A little bit more focus on that versus say Tom Thibodeau's help defense, but still the defensive principles are still the same. These ill-advised mid-range jumpers, make sure, or not make sure, but try to force them to take these, contested three-point shots, obviously, as the defense can split back out, more so in Tom Thibodeau's system where they make it more of an effort to execute better rotations and get the guys out to close out once they commit to helping out defensively in the paint. So when you look at a guy like Ryan Dunn, I mean, defensively, he should be able to fit right into Tom Thibodeau's system with little to no waste of time. Now, let's get to some of the negatives. Damn, son. Yeah, your boy can't shoot. Simple as that, man. 53% for the three-point line. 50% his rookie season. Guy really has not improved. And according to the Augusta Free Press, he's only made 11 jump shots this season, which is terrible. Now, the most annoying thing about Ryan Dunn is that his shot is not broken. The most I could find on a consistent basis in terms of mechanically incorrect with Ryan Dunn was that sometimes when he gets a pass on the right side, he likes to stick out his right foot versus sometimes when catch shoots on the left side, he doesn't really stick his foot as much, but you still see it. It's just a little hitch. Now, and the crazy thing about Ryan is that in high school, he was seen as a shooter. The scouting report on Ryan coming out of high school was that he was a shooter, according to Zach Carey of SB Nation. This is Ryan's high school scout, or the scouting on him as a high school player coming to college, not him as a college player. This is what they said, and I quote, "As a player, Dunn's most promising strength is his shooting ability. He has a pure stroke and a quick release as he can hit off of catch and shoots or dribble pull-ups. His handle is solid for his size, and while it'll likely have to be clean for some college ball, he's capable of getting himself open off the dribble. He's got a great wingspan that should prove helpful as he develops his handle and slashing ability. Dunn has a potential to be a 3-level scorer at UVA. He's got some real smoothness to his game. His ability to hit shots off of pull-ups is especially encouraging for his chances to be a scorer for the Wahoos in the backcourt." There's precedents of guys who, had similar numbers. For instance, Trevor Ariza, my son, who I will never forgive Larry Brown for trading Trevor Ariza. Whatever. Trevor Ariza had an interview the other day talking about that and stuff that Larry Brown was doing to that kid, man. Back to the video. So, for instance, Trevor Ariza shot 23% from three-point line and 50% from the stripe in college. And he became, for his career, 35% three-point shooter, 73% shooter in the league. And Trevor Ariza had his up and downs, but I remember him talking about how he built up his confidence and started to really work in his game. And it really just came from repetition. He said when he was in LA, I believe he was in LA for 2 years, 2007, 2009, just seeing Kobe be in the gym, just working like a dog at his game. And that's all it came down to. And I wish freaking Larry Brown would have traded him and allowed the kid to freaking realize the potential. Back to the video. Now, for a guy who, if you could get his shooting up, would definitely be able to be allowed to play on the outside, or it would be validated for him to play on the outside. We can hit that shot from the wing or attack. Him attacking the basket, he'll have a lot of opportunities playing alongside a guy like, say, Jalen Brunson, just hypothetically speaking, or theoretically speaking, whatever one's the right word, where you can see him attacking from that wing, with Jalen Brunson drawing gravity on the strong side, pass out to a guy like Ryan Dunn. Ryan Dunn just has to attack the basket. So I think with him, it's not necessarily he has to improve his dribble to get the hezzy and whatnot. It's just about making quick and decisive moves to the basket when the ball's in your hand, be a little bit more physical. I would like for a little bit more creativity to embrace contact. I thought too many times this season with Virginia, he kind of settled for layups. And he had a decent free throw draw rate, 37%, but he has to make his free throws. You just go into the line and you're not punishing anybody by shooting 53.2% from the stripe. But, a guy like Ryan Dunn, again, he's a major developmental prospect. A guy that I hope the Knicks can also invest in if they draft him in terms of, again, that shooting coach. But it's up to Ryan to get back what he lost or what may have been lost. Again, Ryan, to me, his jumper is literally the difference between roster fodder and essentially your number 4, your starting number 4 in a few years if guys aren't resigning. Guys like Randall aren't resigning, need a cheaper option. So it's up to Ryan to make it work, but Ryan should definitely be on the radar. As he is now, as the Knicks have worked him out, he should definitely be on the Knicks' radar. Now, next up is Keon George, the Swiss from Switzerland, coming out of University of Miami. Spent Only one season there was rookie season at the university, or freshman season at University of Miami. So guys are 6'8" wing, gained about 30 pounds this season in college, as well as grew 3 inches in height. Again, the points, the stats don't really pop out to you because of time usage. Only had 23 minutes a night, 17.6% usage. Only averaged 7.6 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 42.6% from the field, 40.8% from 3, and 77% from the stripe. Again, solid shooting splits from a guy who didn't get much time. When you think about it, that's kind of what you want. You want a guy who doesn't get a lot of touches and can be that great or good of a sniper. You're talking about a guy who shot 43.3% on all catch and shoots this season, both guarded or unguarded catch and shoots. Your man was an absolute beast on guarded catch and shoots, 37.5% from the field. Unguarded catch and shoots, bueno. 54.5% from the field on all unguarded catch and shoots. Now, talk about dribble jumpers again. He wasn't a great mid-range shooter, but that really wasn't his game. Dribble jumpers this season shot 29.2%, but effective field goal percentage shot 41.7%. Now, he got a lot of freedom. It's weird. He didn't get a lot of minutes, didn't get crazy usage, but when he had the ball in his hands, he's allowed to bring up the ball and just jack up shots. Some of them were and some of them like, you know, once you get maybe 5, 6, 7 years in the league and, you know, you averaging a good amount, I don't mind it. And when you look at his game, I mean, just a fluid release from on a shooting form. We talking about just great, just rain. It's beautiful watch. Now some people complain and say he's a little bit too slow. I didn't find it more so. I think he get the shot off once he gets to the league, and again he was able to eat all over the perimeter. Outside of the right side, kind of struggled from that right wing, right corner, but everywhere from the floor. I mean, man, that guy was an absolute beast, having a 68% 3-point attempted rate for a guy who's supposed to be a sniper is definitely a nice sample size in terms of getting him those touches, make him have a feel. And that's something you want from your 3-point shooters. You want to have a decent amount of attempts, even though I think in the league, once he gets there, it's going to go down. When you look at guys like Emmanuel Quickly when he got to the NBA, even his rookie season where he had that ridiculous green light, he only had a 3-point attempt rate of 52%, never reaching above 54%, which was his sophomore season or second season in the league, and that declines around 40%. So he's gonna have to moderate. But I think he's not gonna be the number one guy coming to the league. You cut down the amount of free will and green light that he had relative to what he had in Miami. You're still talking about a guy that with such low usage and minutes, he still projects to be an absolute sniper once he gets to the league. To me, I thought that, some other aspects of his game, attacking the basket, he reminds me of Delano Banton in some regards, right? I think he's a little bit slower, not Delano's the most explosive, but as fluid as Delano's become attacking the basket, I don't think he's there yet. I think too many times you kind of play below the rim that made sense. He's a very long, stridey type of player. He reminds me in some regards, too, if you could take a little bit of Delano Banton, a little bit of what Brandon Ingram had when attacking the basket when he was with the Lakers. I get a little bit of that, but he's just this long, stridey guy. He knows how to hit off of angles with his free elbow, his finishing elbow at times. But he's not the most explosive when he gets there, right? Unless it's just a free, dunk or he's, there. At the rim, he shot 58% from the rim, which is okay. I think with him, you want him to be a little bit more physical. Also have a little change of pace. Too many times, he's just a very linear driver to the basket. So a nice little hezzy change of pace. I'm not even saying hezzy. I hate saying like you have to create from hezzy, but a change of pace type of move. Something to put between the legs, a little in and out. Something to kind of fool the defenders, especially if they close out and in front of him in time. And, he can't just go straight to the basket. Also has to put a little bit more muscle. He has a great frame for a muscular build, but, he is a relatively skinny, thin player. You see it at times where sometimes he could be kind of overwhelmed once the defense collapses on him in the paint. He just can't finish over or through traffic. And sometimes very stridey. He sometimes picks up his dribble a little bit too early, so he's definitely going to have to work on that. His dribble at times too could be a little lackadaisical. Thus, the reason why he had a 27% turnover rate. When he's trying to drive through traffic, sometimes he kind of keeps the dribble a little bit high. Again, that comes when you become a strong. I remember Brandon Ingram had similar issues like that with the Lakers. Now, they had a whole bunch of issues with the Lakers at that time, but You talking about a guy, again, these long, stridey, skinny attackers. I just see a little bit of that Brandon Ingram and some of that Delano Banton. Now, when you look at his defense, one thing that stuck out to me, at times he does seem a little lackadaisical, and a little tad slow. Sometimes teams kind of struggle defending or shedding screens. But the funny thing is that he actually has a good percentage in terms of defending pick and roll ball handlers. Only gave it 28.6% from the field on all pick and roll ball handlers. But just from what I saw from the film, just way too many times he kind of struggled with them. The closeouts as well too. He's a little bit it's like a step slow. And I don't know if it's a focus thing. Many times he would be helping out in the paint, and then the ball go right back to his original guy that he's supposed to defend on the outside. He doesn't do a good job of kind of hedging that space. In Tom Thibodeau's defense, to help is going to be communication. He's got to be able to rotate, and that's his biggest weakness. Some of his rotations or his closeouts are just poor. When we talking about he doesn't have to make these multi-cross rotations like the Knicks do. He wasn't doing that in Miami, and he still struggled in terms of closeouts, in terms of spot up jumpers or spot up shooting against him. He's average, according to Synergy Sports, gave around 37.9% from the field, which is not kosher. So for him, again, it's a lot of it. It's focused. Combine talking about you could bring scoring and high IQ. They said I could bring some defense. Ain't gonna be some defense, bro. You're gonna have to bring all the defense coming to the New York Knicks. I do see, like I said, some Delano Banton, how he attacks the basket with better shooting. Again, I like Keyshawn George's developmental prospect. That's a guy that I could see being in the G League and learning the culture, defensive culture, understanding where to be on the floor, anticipating where the attack is going to come, anticipating and understanding where your defensive help is supposed to come in terms of rotations, who's supposed to be closing out on who, and also just building up that intensity. People say he's a little bit tad slow, whatnot. I think that's just him processing. But the positive thing is that he's shown flashes. He's shown the ability to close out properly, to mirror his defender, to slide his hips effectively. It just comes in glimpses. In the league, it just has to be a lot more consistent, especially under Tom Thibodeau. And you take away some of that burden of having to kind of carry our offense when you're in, even though again the miss and usage is not there. But when he was playing, it's like, he was the kind of like the main weapon on the floor. You take that away from him and he focuses on defense, bro. You could get an absolute two-way beast. Last but not least is Darren Holmes, second coming out of Dayton. Damn, son, we got some nightmares coming out of Dayton, son. Remember that's your man Obi Toppin? That's wild, son. He has the Knicks community and Dayton community split up. You got people from Dayton like, don't draft, they're gonna ruin like they did Obi Toppin. You got people in the Knicks community like, I don't want Obi Toppin again. Got some people in the Knicks community like, this dude, he may have something that the shooting may translate. Got some people talking about he's Precious Achua. Either way, Darren Holmes, a guy who averaged 20.4 points a game on 54.4% shooting from the field, 8.6% from three, 71% from the stripe, 8.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists. And to me, you see a little bit of everything from some of your more successful small bigs, I don't know what you call them in the league. Guys like Brandon Clark, I see some Brandon Clark to his game with some offensive upside to me. I think he's strong. I think he's agile, able to run the floor. He loves the alley-oop. He can also pass out the post. But to me, man, 1v1 attack, and he is fairly north to south, fairly linear. And although he does most of his damage off the pick and roll, in the paint, and in the post up, I do think that he has a decent enough first step that he can exploit against slower defenders in the league. That's why he shot 50% of isolation shots this past season. This is a guy who operates really effectively in the pick and roll as well as the pick and pop, given his shooting ability. This year in the pick and roll, he averaged around 52% from the field. Again, good short hands, good footwork. His screening could improve. He does set sometimes these really weak screens, but that should come with some improvement in the NBA. He does try to do this ugly hook shot thing that I don't know if it's gonna stick. He's had 3 years in college, got to work on it, and I look at it as like, you might have to take that out your game. You can play against some bigger front court players in the league and some better competition. I mean, the A10 is just not the greatest in terms of competition. Now you look at him again, rebounding. He's another guy who I think has a good knack for rebounds. A guy that seems to always be around a long rebound, something that Tom Thibodeau loves. And I don't know if you could teach that. I don't know if you can teach her if it's natural. Guys like Dennis Rodman, you can't teach what Dennis Rodman had. Josh Hart, the hustle. What is it? Is it just the hustle you get from him? I don't know. I think with Josh Hart's more hustle. Dennis Rodman's more like he's got this weird supernatural ability to just sense when where the rebound's gonna be. But Holmes is definitely a guy who works hard on the boards in terms of rebounding. I think that his box house could be a lot better. One thing I do like about Holmes is that once he sees his assignment trying to crash and get the boards, he kind of does make an effort to zone it on that player and then kind of, I don't say box out, but kind of put his body on him at times. To me, I think his best defensive attribute is his blocking. Now, again, the A-10ers have the strongest of competition, but you see when you watch Holmes' game, again, he's another guy, very patient. He loves to keep his hands up, very disciplined, which sometimes hurt him. Sometimes guys beat him to the basket, he just stands straight, but he doesn't want to get the foul. But the thing that I like about Holmes, especially on the help defense, is that his timing for the blocks is buenos. But again, this past season was a lead block for the A10, led the conference in blocks at 66. Very patient on the help, times it absolutely perfectly. So you talk about smaller guards, some wings. Knicks have a good enough. Our defense will make it hell when we're healthy. Make it hell for you to attack the basket. And you have a guy like Holmes here to help out. So you'll never skip a beat going from Mitch Robinson to iHeart when Tibbs got to spell those guys. Say Holmes gets 5-10 minutes, 2 minutes at the end of a quarter or the end of a first half. He comes in. You see that beautiful help defense from him. I do think he'd do a better job of shedding screens, defend the pick and roll. He's not a bad isolation defender by any stretch of imagination. I do think that you can leave him out on an island. He does have the lateral quickness to kind of keep up with players. But his game, again, is mostly in the paint for the most part. And this season in college regarding his isolation numbers, they were decent. They were solid, 40.6% given up from the field. He can also get a little bit stronger too. I thought sometimes in a post-up, like I said, he just puts his hands straight up, work on his discipline, work on his strength as well too. Add a little bit more strength to his game because guys gonna be trying to back him down. He can't just play straight up. Also, on some of these small offenders, be able to shift your hips a little bit more in the paint. You don't gotta be a Statue of Liberty. You ain't no damn Roy Hibbert, but again with me, be able to play on the outside, closing out is also a thing that he has to work on well too. Some of his timing could be a little bit too slow in the closeouts. Like I said, shedding screens well too. So again, he's a very solid defensive player. I think as a help defender, especially as a project. I mean, he should be able to flourish in Tom Thibodeau's system. You're talking about a 6'10", 6'11" player who can hound on the rebounds and protect the paint. And another thing with him too, like I said, I guess on the offensive end, let me get to the shooting. His post ups is weird. He has a decent spin move that goes baseline, but then like I said, he has that ugly hook shot that he got to get rid of. That hook shot is garbaggio. He has some good post up numbers. Now with him, and I'm gonna get to the shooting. I save his shooting for a little bit, but from the post-ups, he is a decent passer. He's a guy who likes to draw the gravity. He likes to draw players in, not draw the gravity. He likes to draw the players in, create gravity by drawing the extra defender in and making a pass. Now he does sometimes make this overhead pass in the post that can't do that in the league. Too many turnovers. But in terms of creating gravity, kind of being a sentry, he has some Randall to his game. Now Randall, I'm not talking about he spins into double teams or spins all that crap and tries to make these ridiculous passes. Sorry, man, I had to, but he does like to pass out of the double teams in the post. So he's a guy that he likes to create gravity and get other players involved. He has a decent amount of IQ. Now he's been a Dame for 3 years, but he has a decent amount of IQ to understand how to pass out of double teams and find his open teammates. Now the bread and butter is his shooting. I'm talking about his 3-point shooting. I'm talking about his mid-range shooting as well too, and the post-ups. You're talking about a guy that for the past few years has improved his shooting. His freshman year, he shot 14.3% on two attempts a game. Then went to 31.6% on 0.6 attempts a game, and now at 38.6% on 2.5 attempts. And again, that's not a lot. Remember, Obi Toppin came out of college shooting, I think similar, 38% on 2.8 attempts or something like that. But to me, when you look at his catch and shoot numbers, fairly impressive. Shot 40.2% on all catch and shoots this past season, was ranked in the 83rd percentile according to Synergy Sports. On unguarded catch and shoots, what I think is the most important thing you have to focus on, he shot 55.3% and ranked in the 97th percentile regarding unguarded catch and shoots. Now, his guarded catch and shoot numbers were a little bit weaker at 27.3%. It's actually a lot weaker. It's below average, right? But now you had other guys that we thought the catch and shoot numbers, the 3-point shooting was legit until you look, and I mentioned this, I like Quentin Grimes, but come out of Houston, he had better guarded catch and shoot numbers than unguarded catch and shoot numbers. And I felt like, and as we've seen, when you have those numbers, typically to me, I feel like you're a better rhythm shooter. And in this league, or in this offense with Tom Thibodeau, you need guys who can hit the shots when they're by themselves. The free throw shooting also improved as well too, going 58.6% his freshman year to 71% in his third season in college. Now, and also too, the post-up numbers were relatively solid. He shot 47.9% on all post-ups. That was around 32% of his possession. And the thing I like so much about Holmes and why I think his jump shot could translate into the league, especially in the post-up, is how he uses the shoulder and the footwork to gain space and advantage against the defender where he fills it out, could turn into the inside and hit that jumper going near the foul line, or he could turn and use his shoulders to hit the baseline fadeaway jumper in the post. It's a nice offset to some of the power that may not translate immediately once he gets to the league. Now, he's not going to have a 31% usage rate in the NBA to start. It's just not going to happen. So the catch shoot numbers and the defense and the rebounding, all those other attributes, especially on the defensive end, are going to help buy his way into more rotational minutes for Tom Thibodeau. Now, to me, again, competition is a major overhang on his game, and A10 just doesn't have the strongest of competition. And he is a 30-year player. He's on the older end. So, again, this is developmental picks. These are late first round, second round picks in a weak draft. So I'm just looking at talent. We could talk about age and competition, but at the end of the day, I'm just looking for talent, anything that could translate possibly. I look at him, and if his the shooting translating is going to be his major swing skill, right? You're talking about a guy who go from anywhere from a Nas Reed to a poor man's Jarrett Vanderbilt to another Isaiah Jackson, or maybe even another Obi Top. Well, Obi Top is more so a fast break guy. He's not going to rebound. I don't think Darren Holmes is not going to rebound and defend as poorly as Obi Toppin did when he was here in New York. But just because he came from the same school, people might have that feeling. See Isaiah Jackson, guy who could just run the floor, defend the rim, but he really can't space the floor to save his life, really can't shoot at all. And for a second rounder, that's not bad. Now, where Jackson got drafted, I think he drafted 9th to 10th by the Pacers. It's like, But second round pick to get Isaiah Jackson is not the worst, but I'm looking for, can he be Nas Reed? I think that's his ceiling. Some people said pressure shooting. The funny thing, he actually has some pressure shooting to his game, decent enough wingspan. When pressure at Memphis, if you look at their games, like attacking the back, they kind of have similar games. Pressure wasn't as good of a shooter as Darren Holmes. I can't really even say it like that, but you just look at how they play. It's a little similar. Also had dreads or braids, locks, whatever. So it looks similar. So you're just getting this multifaceted, possibly two-way player. If that swing skill shooting, it truly translates. But those are my 3 picks, late round picks or late first round, second round picks for the New York Knicks. And again, I'm not saying these guys are gonna be world beaters, but I'm just saying, look at developmental guys. Every other year, we're like, oh man, he was drafted in the second round. Oh man, the Knicks should have looked at him. And it happens all the time. And these are 3 guys I think could fit Tom Thibodeau's system really well. Again, development goes a long way, especially with Ryan Dunn. But I think these are 3 guys that if you develop them the right way, you're getting some major steals. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments at the end of the video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, share this out to your friends, your family, whoever the hell is out there, man. I appreciate you guys, man. This is Gmo, Legion of Knicks, and we are out.